Hello everybody, Iain Robson here with another Courseplay tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how to pick up bales using the autostacker. This is the Courseplay one at least, and it's the same method you'd use for round bales or for square bales basically. So what I have here is I have my New Holland. He is currently baling and apparently he has a bale stuck in front of him, but we're just going to move that out of the way. There we go. So he's baling right now. So what you can do is there's a couple different ways you could set this course up. You can either copy the same course. So for example, if I wanted to copy the same course as the New Holland has here, all I would need to do is go to driving settings, go to the drop down menu down here that says copy course, and select which one you want to select. So in this case I want to select the New Holland T7550 and I want to load that course. So now I have the same course as the New Holland. Now one of the things you want to be aware of is that you don't want to drive in exactly the same spot as the New Holland. You want to be offset a little bit. So the way you offset things is, let's just drive behind here. So now I have the same course as him, so I'm just going to drive behind here, and it helps if I put it in the right mode. So you want to make sure it's in fieldwork mode for balers, forge wagons, and bale loaders. So there we go. So as you can see, it drops down the bale loader. Now right now it's going to drive in exactly the same spot as the New Holland, which we do not want. So what you need to do is you need to offset your tractor basically, and you can do that by the horizontal offset like so. So if you want to move to the left, it would be, you know, however much you think you need to move over. So in this case I've moved over 2 meters to the left. So what that means is every single time, well, whenever it follows a course, is going to follow the course 2 meters to the left. So sometimes what happens is you need to make some small adjustments to make sure you are in the right spot. So in this case I think I could probably decrease it a little bit to maybe like 1.5 meters. And what you want to do is you want to make sure it picks up the bale. You want to make sure it picks up the bale in the right spot. So for example, in this case, he's driving the same course as the New Holland, but the New Holland hasn't dropped any bales yet. So he's just going to drive around on the same course until a bale is dropped basically. So it looks like the New Holland's going to drop a bale soon. So he's following the same course. And one of the things you want to do is, if you're doing this type of system, you want to make sure that you set it up so you do return to the first point. So in this case I follow the same course as the New Holland. So the problem I'm going to run into is that it's going to go to the very last point, which is over by where the combine is over there. So what that means is it's going to run through any bales that this guy drops. So in order to avoid that type of situation, it's actually a bit better to, so see how it's not in the right spot there? So what I can do now is I can go back into the driving settings and adjust it a bit further. So I'm going to set it to 2 meters now. And now the tractor shouldn't hit the bales when they're dropped. In this situation, like I said, the better way to do this is to generate exactly the same course. So let's say I bring up my field outline, which is down here, and I go to generate course. And I know it's not 23 meters. I know I have it set to 10 meters. It's the south. This is the southwest corner over here, like so. And I have the direction starting north, and I know I did a headland before. But in this case, I do want to return to the first point, and the reason why is so that this guy doesn't drive all the way through all of the other bales that it's dropped. So for example, he should be able to follow exactly the same course now. So let's go to generate course. So now it's generated the course, and now he should be able to follow exactly the same format, except in this scenario what it's going to do is it's not going to drive over the bales in order to get to the last point. It's going to return over here, therefore not running into any bales that have been baled but you can't pick up yet. So in this case, this is the one scenario that you run into, is that if a bale is dropped on the side like that one was on the edge, you may not always get that particular bale, but those ones aren't too bad to pick up. So there's a bale just up here that you can see right here, and now that I've set the offset to 2 meters, this guy should be able to pick it up No problem. So this is one way you could do it. You could just have him so he manually picks up the bales, but you can also set it so he actually drops the bales off as well. The problem you're going to run into is that the bales need to be moved, basically. So there you go. Perfect. So 2 meters is the right width. So he stops, he's going to do all that. Excellent. Look at that. So there you go. That's how the auto stacker works. Now, that's one way to do it. Another way you can do it is, let's say I want to unload the bales somewhere. So let's say over here. So I'm just going to go start the course, record a couple points, and then what you want to do is you want to set a waiting point. And at the waiting point, that's where the bales are going to be unloaded, basically. There you go. So I'm going to drive back around here. So that will be the bale unload course. And you can drive wherever you want it to be, basically. But I put it there just for demonstration purposes. So now, what I can do is I can load the field outline, generate the same course I did before. Returning to the first point, remember, is important. And now what I can do is I can add that bale unload as well. So now what he's going to do is he's going to drive. Let's go pick up this random bale over here that was dropped. All right. So what I can do now is, let me just drive down here a little bit. And I think that's the only bale that, oh, there's a bale down here. So what's going to happen is, so let's say he's on the course. He's going to drive the course here. And let me close this. So he's going to pick up this bale here, let's say. And let's just say he is full after he picks up this bale. So he's going to go here, pick up the bale, and then he's going to return to the first point because that's what we said for him to do. So let's say picks up the last bale. Oh no, I'm full. There you go. So now let's send him to drive now. So what's going to happen is he's going to drive, he should drive back to the very first point. He shouldn't drive back to the last point. So the reason why we set him up this way is because we want him to move quickly. We want him to not drive through all the other bales. So one thing to note is that if you set the field speed low, he will obviously drive slow. But in this case, it's driving slow because I think I started the last point up here somewhere. So you can adjust the speed accordingly. And sometimes it will do stuff like this, for example, where it's driving slower than you think it would do. But the reason why is because it's returning to the first point. And once it returns to the first point, it will come down here and drop off the bales up here. I don't know why it's going so slow. I don't know. Doesn't want to drive any faster than that for whatever reason. I don't know. Anyway, so it's going to come up here to the very first point again. And then once it does that, it'll drive to the other course. So this is the first point right up here. So let's see what it does. So it's at the first point now. It raises up the arm, which means it's not going to pick up any more bales. And now it's going to turn around, return to the point, and here's our waiting point. So now he's going to come to the waiting point. It's going to stop, and he's going to unload the bales right here. So see how he's unloading the bales? So that's that's what would happen if it was full. He would just come here, unload the bales, and then drive back to the course. So the one problem you're going to run into is, in this scenario, those bales are just going to sit there. And unless you move them manually, or if that's a sell point, I suppose it could be the case, nothing's going to happen. So he's going to come here, he's returning to the first point, so he's going to go pick up some more bales now. And he's going to return to where he left off at the end of the course. Or where I set him to drive on, basically. So, anyways, that is how you use a auto stacker to unload the bales in a place where you set, basically. And you can have it further away from the farm. I only put it there for demonstration purposes. Anyways, that's it for this Courseplay tutorial. This is showing you how to use the auto stacker to unload bales wherever you choose. My name's Iain Robson, and I'll catch you guys later.